Hello, everyone. My name is Marcy Gillette, and I'm the Community Services Director for the City of Battle Creek. Today, we have with us Christine Zuska, Planning and Zoning Manager, Chris Lucier, Community Development Manager, Rick Bullock, who is our Chief Building Official, Inspection Supervisor, and Jason Francisco, our Code Compliance Manager. The Community Services Department is made up of these 4 divisions: code compliance, community development, inspections, planning, and zoning. And we're responsible for uplifting, supporting, protecting, and enforcing the community's health of both people and place. We do this within our own scopes of responsibility for each division, but also in partnership with resident engagement, community collaboration, and our local partnerships. This work is done collectively to support Battle Creek's vision for an extraordinary community. The Community Services Department has 27 FTEs, full-time employees. The department reports to the Assistant City Manager, Ted Deering. The Code Compliance Division is made up of a manager and 5 code officials. The Planning and Zoning Division is made up of a manager, 2 senior planners, and a customer service representative. The Inspections Division has the Chief Building Official, an inspector in each of the 4 trades, and customer service representatives that are also shared with the Compliance Division. The Community Development Division has the Community Development Manager, the Housing Rehab Coordinator, CD Specialist, lead grant coordinators and inspectors, and also construction specialist and intake specialist. A community asset administrator that works collaboratively both within our organization and with community partners to address issues that are larger scope and may involve multiple partners.
What is code compliance and why is it important? The City of Battle Creek has 5 senior code compliance officials responsible for the enforcement of the Property Maintenance Code, which applies to all residential and commercial properties. Strategic code enforcement is a critical element that fights neighborhood decline, preserves neighborhoods, restores distressed areas. Proactively, it helps us halt, identify, and reverse the negative impacts of vacant, abandoned, and problem properties, making the City of Battle Creek a more stable and desirable community to reside in. We continue to analyze our community health indicators throughout every neighborhood to make sure that our efforts are intentional and impactful. The City of Battle Creek is broken up into 8 neighborhood planning councils, which encompass more than 17,000 residential parcels and more than 4,000 commercial parcels. Some of the sample items that we address on a daily basis: rental registration and inspection, exterior minimum property codes, junk accumulation, front yard parking, inoperable vehicles, infestations, properties that don't have any utilities, sidewalk snow removal, and also parcel maintenance on more than 140 city-owned lots. Code compliance has 4 key areas of responsibility, the first being the Property Maintenance Code. Next being rental housing, which is interior and exterior inspections of all rental houses within the City of Battle Creek. Third, the Vacant or Abandoned Structures Ordinance, which also includes monthly monitoring of those properties. Lastly, the newly created Hotels, Motels, and Tourist Homes, Chapter 818.
Community Development Division coordinates planning and administers state and federal grants on behalf of the city. So essentially, we do 2 things. We're responsible for putting together the city's 5-year consolidated plan, which basically explains how the city will spend the dollars that it gets from the state and federal governments around community development and housing activities. Each year we update that with an annual plan, and through the course of the year we hold public hearings that are in front of the City Commission 3, sometimes 4 times a year to help us put that plan together. The Community Development Division has 5 major sources of funding. These are sometimes supplemented depending on the year with other resources that we might apply for or be awarded. In the coming year, we'll have community development. You get about $1.2 million a year. Home investment program dollars, we get about 220 to 250,000 a year. Those go towards affordable housing. CHIP Medicaid, let's say program dollars, we get $1.5 million a year. We currently have a 5-year grant for that. We just recently were awarded a HUD Healthy Homes program grant, which is about $1.1 million a year. And then we are in the last year or two of the Battle Creek Public School District Teacher Housing Incentive Program, which creates some housing incentives for teachers that move into the Battle Creek Public School District. The city's 5-year consolidated plan lays out 6 strategic priorities that guide all of the funding, all of the programming that we do around community development and housing. So in those 6 strategic priorities are safe and attainable housing, which includes things like ensuring rental properties are safe, that we have, that we're increasing affordable housing options, we're preserving existing affordable housing and increasing access to housing. Anti-poverty strategies includes things like reducing the effects of poverty on families. So just because you're poor doesn't mean you have to live next to a vacant building or be in a neighborhood that's in decline or have unsafe housing. Community engagement, neighborhood vitality, land activation, which is preserving land or doing things with vacant land to ensure that neighborhoods are stable or that folks have access to natural resources. And then lastly, fair housing. This is a list of the programs that we'll be funding over the course of the next 5 years. We're currently in the first year of our 5-year consolidated plan. So some of these activities we're funding currently, and others, like the one at the very top, the Youth Village Project, won't be funded until years 4 or 5. This chart also shows what strategic priorities each program is hitting on. And we basically use those strategic priorities to score every program idea that we get. And we can know the program's strategic value based on those scores. And that's sort of what's reflected here.
The inspection division for the city of Battle Creek is enforcing the state of Michigan construction code. Those codes are designed to govern the design, construction, repair, alteration, occupancy, and use, and the general maintenance of buildings. The authority for those actions come under the State Construction Code, Public Act 230 of 1972, and Trade Act 407 of 2016, which regulates all the occupations and contractors, inspectors who work under that construction code. In the enforcement of the state codes, we cover the building codes, mechanical, fuel gas code, electric, plumbing, energy code, property maintenance code, and the fire codes. Some of our other activities include permit application, approval of plans and reviews, pre-development meetings. In those meetings, we typically sit down with contractors and or developers who maybe have an idea of something they want to do in the city, but want to know what the strategy and steps are to get through the process of inspections. We have code compliant investigations and enforcement, certificate of occupancy, safety inspections on homes or businesses that are vacant, abandoned, or in some reason have been unoccupied and now want to be brought back into service. Dangerous building enforcement, structure fires, we assist the fire department looking at those fires for causes and what their status can be after a fire. Is it something that can be rehabilitated right away, or is it something that needs to be put into a dangerous building situation? We assist also in police raids, Calhoun County Health Department in their orders to vacate, and any special events that go on in the community with regards to maybe the flight of balloon festivals or other activities that go on in the city, making sure that those events are done in a safe manner.
The primary purpose of planning and zoning is to help plan and guide future growth and development of the city, not only relating to investment, but taking into consideration natural resources, transportation, commerce, housing, infrastructure, recreation, land use. That also includes policy development through the city, as well as budgeting decisions. The authority for a city to have planning and zoning comes from state statute. The original state statute that allowed for this was adopted in 1931 by the state. And then all of those statutes were consolidated into a new legislation in 2006. Incidentally, the city of Battle Creek has had zoning since 1924. So we've regulated land use and development and different type of zoning activities for that long. So the important thing from a statute standpoint, and then also from a local standpoint, is to have a master plan that really lays out the guide. It's a 20-year document that talks about where the city wants to be, how we want to grow, where we want to grow, and in what way. That plan needs to be updated every 5 years. It needs to be reviewed and possibly updated every 5 years. But it's meant to be a very comprehensive long-term document. And from a department standpoint, we check what we're doing all the time against that to make sure that we're moving forward. So in that plan, it addresses all the factors I previously listed and takes into a very comprehensive view from a city perspective on where we want to be. Within that document, it's primarily geared toward development. However, we also address recreation, non-motorist transportation, transit, the zoning ordinance, and sub-area plans where we want to do a deep dive on a certain area. So that document really is what gives us our direction from a city and a planning department to move forward on a day-to-day basis with implementation. On the right of this slide, that talks about the short-term planning and some of the different things that we do on a day-to-day basis, all of which we need to make sure we're always tying back to the goals and objectives in the master plan. The main tool for implementation of a master plan is a zoning ordinance. Planning and zoning is responsible for development of that document as well as administration and also enforcement. We're currently wrapping up a rewrite of our zoning ordinance and our map, which primarily was adopted in 1974. We've had significant updates since then. However, the format has been drastically in need of update, and there's a lot of inconsistencies and issues with it. So while we, on a day-to-day basis, help anybody that comes in and calls and wants to do something on their property or improve their property or make an investment, there's also a number of bigger projects that we work on. So zoning ordinance is one of them. And then we also are the staff liaison to 3 different boards and commissions at the organization level. The one is Planning Commission. This is a recommendation board that provides advice to the City Commission on a number of issues relating to land use and development. Any rezoning or ordinance amendment from a zoning perspective needs to go through Planning Commission, and then it goes through City Commission. Additionally, there are, in our zoning ordinance, we have permitted uses, which means if you want to use your property in this way, you can. You don't need special approval. There's also a number of special uses, which are those types of uses that might require additional oversight. Those go to Planning Commission and also City Commission here in Battle Creek. So all those things go to the Planning Commission and then would come to City Commission after that. We also are the staff liaison to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The Zoning Board of Appeals is a quasi-judicial board that provides oversight specifically to the zoning ordinance. So anybody that wants to apply for a variance from a regulation in the ordinance can apply to the zoning board. Staff does not have the ability to approve those administratively. That is what the zoning board is for. They also can hear appeals from anybody aggrieved by a decision of the zoning administrator. So if we send a violation letter, for example, and a property owner does not agree with how we're interpreting that, they can apply to the Zoning Board of Appeals for an interpretation. And then thirdly, we are also staff liaison to the Historic District Commission. There are 5 local historic districts in the city of Battle Creek that regulates and reviews different type of development or construction or improvements to properties in the historic district. And our staff really helps try to guide any property owner wanting to do that type of work to get through the process. Hopefully getting administrative approval on some of the different types of things they want without having to go to HDC, but then also taking it to HDC if necessary. There
are a number of things moving forward that as a department holistically, we we are working toward. One is which certainly an environment where staff feel supported in helping make Battle Creek a safe and desirable community to live in. Commitment to continually seek opportunities where we can improve our policies, our practices, and our procedures, increase public education, transparency, and certainly accountability. Improve our website content, which includes educational materials and also the ease of navigation. And community staff, the community feeling staff is accessible and supportive to what their needs are.
Code compliance in the next year will focus on the implementation of the newly adopted hotel, motel, and tourist home ordinance. We will also conduct exterior property surveys on a third of the properties in the city of Battle Creek and continue to do interior and exterior rental inspections.
Community development will be focused on launching the HUD grant, the CDBG CV programming, and also providing housing support during this COVID crisis. Inspections will increase community usage of online services to include online permitting, payment, scheduling of inspections, and also digital plan review.
Planning, as I had mentioned, we are wrapping up the completion of a new zoning ordinance and map, which we hope to have adopted by City Commission within the next month or 45 days. And then also we had started in 2008. The next goal is to get that wrapped up, finalize community engagement, and have that also adopted by Planning Commission and City Commission. We then have a number of short-term sub-area plans or development projects that we're initiating, as well as from a long-term early next fiscal year is an update to a 1995 historic preservation plan that we have that talks about our local historic districts and the survey and the status of each of those.
We hope that this overview of the Community Services Department was helpful. If you have questions or certainly an interest in receiving additional information, we encourage you to reach out to us. Thank you.